Thank you. Next, Nisga'a Tribal Council. Nisib wanted as Gitlaxt'aamiks listems. Asaga indem laureate Nisga'a Mulsim ginam takyat. Dem andiet wala wil Gitlaxt'aamiks. Asaga indem mahlt losem. Zawel zagamax klise uskop. As wala wil Gitlaxt'aamiks ginam tkod law. Ede blorialt Gitlaxt'aamiks nisib. Nisib de mens lisse and. Nisib de men laakelt. Ede dat hagen acht Gitlaxt'aamiks. Dem niet de misses met Gitlaxt'aamiks. Met hem sim nittend. O de ligi loos oks. Wila je de laals jabben. Eet nisib dem wil loos skaten. Met ik al loosem. Gaan wil de waams godi. En dem mahelt es nisib. Zij wil heksem ook jatsk maar Nisga'a. Loos geht samen slaat. Nisib dem an laakelt. On behalf of the entire Nisga'a nation, I welcome you to our Nass River home. Nisga'a chiefs, elders, Premier Clark, Minister Stewart, other ministers that are here with us today, members of Parliament, and members of the Legislative Assembly, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. Back in 1887, our ancestors, pressing to settle the Nisga'a land question, climbed into their canoes and paddled down the coast of British Columbia to Victoria's inner harbor, where on the steps of the Parliament buildings, they were sharply turned away by Premier Smythe. And like a handful of politicians today, Smythe refused to discuss the Nisga'a land question, wrongly convinced that assimilation of Aboriginal people was inevitable. As a result of that decision, he plunged the province into 100 years of darkness for the Nisga'a and other Aboriginal peoples. Today, as you have witnessed, that has changed forever. I believe that this ceremony that you have witnessed, the initialing of the final agreement, is a triumph for the Nisga'a people, the people of British Columbia, and indeed the people of Canada. Today we make history as we correct the mistakes of the past and send a signal of hope around the world. Today, let us talk about reconciliation and a new understanding between cultures. Nistum de Puladier that Sawan Skundum de Mahal as Nissim. Sawil Manoyakansim. As Miss Max come get and step nidit in the Hyogos Ayok, as will I will the Tsatsik. Sawil Manoyakansim. Today we join Canada and British Columbia as free citizens, full and equal participants in the social, economic, and political life of this country. That has been our dream for more than a century. Today, it becomes reality. People sometimes wonder why we have struggled so long to sign a treaty. Why, we are asked, did our elders and elected officials dedicate their lives to a resolution of the land question? What is it about the treaty? To the Nisga'a nation, a treaty is a sacred instrument. It represents an understanding between distinct cultures and shows respect for each other's way of life. It stands as a symbol of high idealism in a divided, fractious world. That is why we fought so long and so hard. I've been asked many, many times, has it been worth it? Was it worth all this effort and suffering, pain and humiliation? Absolutely, it was worth it. But believe me, it's been a long and difficult and hard-fought fight and compromises that were made. Some may have heard me say on several occasions that a generation of Nisga'a men and women have grown old at the negotiation table, and sadly, that is true. Words can only hint at our feelings, the feelings of my people, the feelings of the Nisga'a nation. Hear about a century of frustration, humiliation, and emotional devastation. We live it every day of our lives. In the past, we're still living it today. Devastated by smallpox, influenza, and other European diseases, our ancestors were torn from their homes, exiled to reserves, forbidden to speak the Nisga'a language and practice our own beliefs. In short, subjected to a system of cultural genocide for 130 years. It still breaks my heart to see our young men and women sentenced to a life of seasonal dead-end jobs, to see the despair and disillusionment on the face of my people. I wish to acknowledge the government of the past Social Credit Party under William van der Zand, and to then Provincial Affairs Minister Jack Weisgerber for bringing the provincial government of that day into the negotiation process. I also wish to acknowledge our leaders, past and present, for their commitment and dedication to the Nisga'a cause. I acknowledge all our supporters and express the gratitude of the Nisga'a nation for your help, spiritual and morally. Those are the reasons, ladies and gentlemen, we are still fighting to finalize the treaty, and we will not stop until it is ratified and made into law. Look around you. Look into the faces of our people. You're looking into the faces of people who have survived. We're survivors. That's what we are. We intend to live in this land forever with our neighbors, and I believe under the treaty we will flourish. I believe that this treaty represents a monumental achievement for the Nisga'a people and for Canadian society as a whole. It shows that reasonable people can sit down and settle historical wrongs. It proves that a modern society can correct the mistakes of the past and ensures that minorities are treated fairly. As Canadians, I believe, we should all be proud. But we will have detractors to this treaty, naysayers and politicians who say our interests should continue to be ignored. Those who say Canada and British Columbia are giving us too much. And there are others, particularly within our own Aboriginal communities, who say we have settled for too little. I believe our detractors do not understand, or practicing a willful ignorance, choose not to understand, or worse, using carefully coded language, they are updating a venomous attitude so familiar to First Nations around the world. They are very wrong, in my view, by playing politics with the aspirations of Aboriginal people. They are blighting the promise of the Nisga'a Treaty, not only for the Nisga'a, but for all Canadians. I believe that there's going to be a great debate following this day, a debate that will take place in the provincial legislature and, no doubt, eventually into the parliamentary system. I wish to say to Canadians in general and to the Nisga'a nation as a whole that there will be no changes to the text of the treaty as it stands today. No longer beggars in our own lands, we now go forward with dignity, equipped with the confidence that we can make important contributions, social, political, and economic, to Canadian society. The Nisga'a Treaty proves beyond all doubt that negotiations, not lawsuits, not road blockades, not violence, are the most effective, most honourable way to resolve the Aboriginal issues in this country. Today, as you are my witness, the Nisga'a canoe returns to the Nass River. It has a cargo of hope and reconciliation. And so we welcome each and every one of you here today to witness this historic event. And hopefully other events of this nature will take place throughout this province. Because I am of the firm opinion that regardless of who says we don't own this land, we know as Aboriginal people that we do, and we want to participate in what happens within our respective territories. Nisga'a wala moksisem. Iasaga indam higainachkum. As nisem. Nisem spagot as white will nagot. Amstem wala wilsem to the loyally altsemi. Kani wala rep aletkum at samagid laha and dentkum. Daarom is de mas oos. Iwalaim will netem and dentkum. So that's how haxam sasa up. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Nisga'a Nation, we are very proud today, but that is not the end of our journey. We move into the ratification process, whereby all of our people will participate. But this is a historic event, and I'm very pleased to be here, and I'm very pleased to see that so many of you are here with us to see history being made in British Columbia. Thank you.